so much, Lorette. As we take a look at the track, it is flowing really, really well. When you have dry conditions, Jacob, you said it, it seems like the track gets faster and faster. It's an Industries all new Z out front, Daniel Stuckey ripping on down in that initiation era. All Kenda tires on track as Chris Forsberg almost brings up to the green wall. Big angle, Daniel Stuckey tucking in nicely, slamming down into that transition in that first inside zone. Now going to the second through the power alley. Daniel Stuckey drops back. He does gain some proximity, has to back off, and then Chris Forsberg sets sail right inside that crease. He is starboard right now, man, as Daniel Stuckey from Minnesota. Forsberg and I will be in Minnesota next weekend at Brandon Raceway at Octane Auto Fest as Kenda Tires, S Chassis, Daniel Stuckey initiates. Forsberg giving a little bit of room here, but he dropped down, and Stuckey initiates. He definitely straightens up. That will impede the outcome of this run, and I think that was good strategy for Forsberg to maybe give him some room, because that could definitely be detrimental. If he was closer and straightened out like that, contact could have been made. So again, was that strategy? Was that a hiccup? Regardless, and there we go. So again, Chris Forsberg gets the win. Federico Sharifo and Kenshiro Gushi. Bright yellow sliding banana, yes sir. Wow. Drops into formation, Gushi across the nose. I'll tell you, Federico, this BMW, a match made in Italian-German heaven. Coming down into that, and Fetty, just as I say that, goes off course. I mean, there is a ton of smoke coming off the back end of Gushi's car. That is the downside of it being so dry. There's a lot of smoke being kicked off. Yeah, it just came absolutely unwound. So I think it's a combination of just, again, he was high on the bank. You saw him hit that cone indicator there of that that first outside zone. Gushi giving him some room here. This could be strategy very comparable to that of Chris Forsberg, but Federico Sharifo, the bumper, looks like he's knocking off, but look at that. Just, you can't even see Ken Gushi coming off that bank into that first inside zone. Give himself some room, and you got to think, Ken Gushi doesn't need to push that hard because he has that major mistake. Let's call it an incomplete, but right for Fetty, and there it is. Kenshiro Gushi gets the win. And that Brandon Sorensen, 22 years old. What a talent he is. Again, years have competed in FD, but now Garagistic Boss Man initiates in tow of that more modern BMW. Rome Charpentier not letting him go away. What a contrast of vehicles, color, new, old, age, all of it, but it doesn't matter as Rome Charpentier lunges forward in that power alley. He throws the hooks into him and tries to gain ground on the young talent. Definitely a busy guy. All right, here, the Garagistic BMW, Rome Charpentier, the Garagistic Pedal Commander, BMW high on the bank, that green tail, and you just talked about it, Jacob, and there he is, coming to fruition, tucking into that smoke-filled hot pocket. Now going to that last outside zone, Brandon gains that proximity, and look at him, it erupts the crowd here in Orlando. You gotta love it. Brandon Sorensen gets the win, taking out RCP. So to reboot here with Cody Buchanan and Wataru Masayama, the Evangelion and Juku Racing, BC Racing 86. But Cody Buchanan, a Formula Drift Pro rookie, initiates. Look at that angle there, you can see with Cody Buchanan and with 50 degrees of angle now coming in. Wataru Masayama into that power alley, jumps out of the smoke and tries to gain some ground against Buchanan, and he does, slowly and surely tucks in next to that 350Z and gets into that crease, both the drivers. Again, the Injuku Racing 86, Injuku Racing, a proud supporter of Formula Drift for so many years, campaigning so many different vehicles over the years, and Masayama, rightfully so, the menacing looking Evangelion front coming through that power alley. Cody Buchanan back there quite a bit. And Buchanan.
That's a big fire.
Yeah, that's a big pop right there, my friend. Let's make sure Cody is okay. Wataru does complete the entirety. Well, with that, officially, Wataru Masayama gets the win in Juku Racing, BC Racing, Evangelion Racing, 86. And it looks like we are seeing Jack Shanahan and D. Mads, Derek Madison, be chased. We got a clean start, no cones were hit. Shanahan initiates into that first, oh, look at that, tip for tat. Jack Shanahan, that's what I said, gangster initiation there by Shanahan, the older Shanahan brother, rides the Lightning all the way up top. Again, there is something in that Cork Ireland water. Now goes past that second inside zone into that last outside zone. Derek Madison tries to gain some ground, and Shanahan rock solid. You know, Jacob, you kind of sometimes spit in my face a little bit. I need that sneeze guard. So here we go, Derek Madison initiating into the bank. Jack Shanahan into aggressive angle by both of them. Let's see how they navigate on the inside. Jack Shanahan, look at that, really good execution. And you can see tucking in, avoiding that smoke trail. behind Derek Madison as chassis. Shanahan drops back quite a bit. Slide him right for Derek Madison. Oh, one more time, and one more time. So, and Madison for this one more time battle. The lights are on. You can see them there on the gantry. Once they extinguish, it's go time. That chase car can leave a little bit before that lead car. First time ever watching. Tip to tail, and there goes that bumper already on D-Maz. Shanahan, good initiation. D-Maz compromises on that angle and going for the proximity. Shanahan hangs it out, goes all the way out to that indicator of that first outside zone. Madison cuts through the smoke, no problem. Drops back quite a bit, but Shanahan gets there deeper and deeper. Madison mimicking the angle. That was good. I mean, again, as we are seeing again the second half of this battle, because again D-Maz got to the side of Jack Shanahan on the bank, and now Jack Shanahan maybe playing a little strategy here, but nah, Jack's just gonna let it all hang out here across that power alley. The Pulsar BMW, and again you can see D-Maz, look at that suspension, doing double time there across the finish line. 3 battles between them, and eventually Jack Shanahan gets the victory. Ben Hobson, Jonathan Castro, Ben Hobson, and the tire fire is on. Here we go, Ben Hobson out front, initiating the pink pony out front. Nice job there as drags the wall. Look at Castro, this is what I'm talking about. I don't know what it is. He just harnesses a special spirit, comes out of the smoke. Castro dies on outside in that power alley. Putting the hurt on Ben Hobson, good proximity, not mimicking the exact angle when it comes to Orlando and Castro. Here we go, initiating into the bank. There goes Ben Hobson to the side of Castro. Castro sticks it to the wall. Look at the proximity between the Toyota and the Ford. Coming down, slamming into that first inside zone, transitioning the power alley. Ben Hobson dives in on the inside, takes out that second inside zone. Castro finds the crease, sets it and forgets it, puts it right in the line for the Metal Dom Toyota GR86. Bad break for Ben Hobson, but Castro gets the win. Battle Jeff Jones, Dan Burkett. Jeff Jones is on one. Yesterday he hurt his finger, saw him this morning. The wheel grabbed his pinky, threw it down, so we will see if he can drive. He's feeling it. Yesterday, a great run by Jeff Jones, and we saw earlier that Rad Dan having an issue with his linkage and his transmission, and again had some issues, but it looks like it's coming together for Jones especially. Dan Burkett comes out of smoke. The Rad Industries Mark IV Supra drops back a bit, now gains some ground and regains it right there to zone 4, drops into formation. Jeff Jones, look at that, counter locked, designed by Australians. So all right, here we go. Rad Dan out front, and he taps that wall. So does Jeff. That was almost a compliment to his car control and saying like, all right, I'll mimic you. Was that within a meter? Definitely less than a meter to that wall. So very similar to what we saw from Rad Dan, but doesn't look like Jeff regains the ground that we saw Rad Dan. But again, keep in mind with Dan hitting that wall, that definitely could have disrupted the flow. Rad Dan will advance on. Like I said, Cody Bakshish and Simon Olsen, right?
Yeah, sorry, 5.
Here we go, 5 out of the 8. Here we go, Odi Bakshish initiates that field suspension. Sumi Mods, BRZ. Simon Olsen tucks in a little bit lower than Odi. Coming down to that first inside, into that power alley. Simon cuts through like a knife, through that smoke. Let's see if they can find that crease, and Odi does. Bakshish backs it in. Odi Bakshish, because he backs it. And how is this going to play a strategy for Odi Bakshish? You know, how much do you trust that he has the equipment? You know, again, Odi's spotter, his wife, one of the best in the biz. She's definitely won spotter of the year multiple times. So strategy's coming into play. And there it is. You see Odi Bakshish kind of just drooling, seething at getting the proximity. Let's see if he finds the wheel on the door, that GT radial. Let's see it, slide him left or right, and it looks like Odi Bakshish. It is to be the Drift Wizard. You need some sorcery when you're going against this young buck. Talk about Cole Richards from Naples, Florida. Here we go, initiating Cole Richards. That Richards Racing 86. Look how high he is on the bank. You cannot tell that he has a broken part at all. Borrows one from Odi Bakshish and sends it. So he is full on open to that tank of nitrous across that power alley. Andy Haley struggling to keep with them as he rips in, and there goes Andy Haley, the Drift Wizard. kind of burn the meatloaf. So here we go. Andy Haley out
Field,
front.
Connor O'Sullivan
Wizard BMW. So here it is. He has to dial it back. But Andy Haley put on a solid lead run there. The Kumo tires gripping up and shooting through that power alley. Cole Richards jumps up, very little and cuts through that smoke again. Andy Haley deep into that outside zone, and Cole Richards mimics that. Cole gets one vote and a one more heat wave on the hood. Cole Richards on and under that helmet. Cole Richards the beast of the bay. And look at O'Sullivan right there to the side of the Corvette. The BMW tucks in nicely. Comes out hot. But Matfield stays in at the beast of the bay. Strikes back and keeps it pinned. Pin it to win it, baby. We talked about Cole Richards at the top of the first battle. Comes up really quick. Out front, Cole Richards in that chase position. Let's see what Andy Haley can do across the nose of Cole Richards initiating. I like it when the gladiators stay in, man. Take it on the chin and keep on get the win. Here we go. O'Sullivan initiates. Slow dance. Maybe he had some correction that weren't exactly. You saw some wavering, a little bit of room for some slow in a new car. Now just breaking it in properly. Coming surging on those inside zones. Strategy just slowly inching and saying, hey, I have the confidence. The crease goes. O'Sullivan and Matfield. Cole Richards gets the win after a one more time battle left for him. Matfield, the beast from the bay.
Adam LZ, this is going to be another fun one. Literal in practice had some crazy chase runs.
So this is definitely a track that he's familiar with, so expect a big gangster initiation, and he does exactly that. Ryan Literal needs to work his way. He definitely has the proximity and drops it in, is mimicking that angle as Adam puts his car in the right place. Now transitions through that power alley. Ryan Literal lost in the sauce there in that back and goes up on the bank. Adam right there in the crease, right in the pocket, and put down a lead run. He's going to need to force an error to Adam LZ in that chase position, comparable, or let's just call it what it is, even worse than some of those minimal mistakes that he made. Here we go, Ryan Literal, the NRG Innovations S chassis. Ryan does it. He goes up high on the bank. Adam LZ, maybe give him a little bit of room. Strategy, TBD. That FD going through and into that first inside zone. Adam cuts through that smoke, straightens out. A big correction there from Adam. He hits dead nuts onto that second inside zone, and Literal, you can hear him mashing the throttle across the finish line.
Judges coming in.
And there it is. Adam LZ unanimously gets the win. Adam LZ advances on. Ryan Literal just had a... We know what to expect here. James Dean and Connor Shanahan. Variable and cog in the machine. Speaking of the machine, here goes James the Machine Dean. Initiating into the bank goes James Connor Shanahan. Into! Nice initiation by both of them. Great proximity. Tucked right there in the pocket of that right-hand drive Ford Mustang. Transition through the power alley. Both these guys in their right-hand drive vehicles. And now Connor, he's riding shotgun with the RTR Mustang. Now bringing it on home with the Penzo O'Reilly Ford Racing Ford Mustang. Connor Shanahan out front. James Dean in the chase position. James Dean tip-to-tail right there. Look at this. Like two absolute gunners coming down and slamming in that transition. Connor Shanahan, you can see him left foot braking, locking up that wheel, and James Dean goes to the door, sticks it to him, showing you why he is your defending and only five-time Formula 2 champion. All right, slide him left or slide him right. James Dean gets 1 vote, 2 votes, and 3 votes. Rockstar energy drink. Toyota GR Supra, you see the attitude of the car, locked in. And Rudy Hansen, let's see, he knows who he's going against. 3-time champ, Frederick Oswald, the Norwegian Hammer, drops the hammer. Rudy Hansen needs to work his way up. And now just slingshots off of that bank into the power alley. Hansen on the wrong side of that cliff. And just a little wonky in that chase position. Rudy just getting a little bit phased there against this giant of the sport. Not playing a major role, it still exists, but here we go, Rudy Hansen out front. Rudy Hansen, he initiates, he's lower on the bank. That allows Frederick Osbo. You think he'd kind of phone it in, talking about calling him and saying, I got your number, but Frederick Osbo, watch him, just gain some ground right here. This just shows you how much horsepower he's got. He drops into that Hansen pocket. And that's going to be, unfortunately, all she wrote for Rudy Hansen. Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Osbo, the Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota GR Supra. Dylan Hughes, that Permatex BMW. Diego Higa's got a lot of fans here in the building and online cheering him on from Brazil. Dylan Hughes, good angle, high on the bank. Diego Higa just a little bit volatile in that chase position, and Diego Higa, look at him transition. That was so aggressive. When he came across that power alley into that second inside zone, just as you say that, the rain comes. Here we go, Diego Higa will lead Dylan Hughes, chasing him down. And again, I would love to, and Diego gets into a little tussle with the wall that allows Dylan Hughes. Look at how just steady Eddie both of them are now in the lead, but Dylan, really good job chasing him down, gives himself some room or has to fall back a little bit. But yeah, so seeing Dylan in this chase position with such confidence. Here we go, slide him left for Dylan and right for Diego Higa, and Dylan Hughes gets the win.
And let's hope we can keep it going.
Yeah, well, James Dean saying he has to take big risks against Connor Shanahan, moves into the top 16.
All right, here we go, the Fleshlight Penthouse BMW Clonex. Nate Chen chasing him down, trying to get into that pocket. Oh, and a little bash in.
All right.
You saw some tapping there as Chen.
Interesting going on there. So it does look like Beecham does go red just a little bit before that contact.
OSW, oh yeah, baby, send it. Nate Chen, we got steam instead of smoke now. We are cooking in more ways than one. It's definitely wet out there. But that FL Pro Penthouse BMW chasing down the 86 of Nate Chen. Slow and low, that is the tempo, but definitely gonna go. In that last outside zone, Nate Chen finds that spot, and they are crawling their way through. Now keep in mind, Nate Chen was at fault with the contact earlier. Yeah, unfortunately with the Nate Chen contact to Trenton Beecham. Beecham will get the win in less than ideal conditions. And you have the less than ideal conditions. The car's not 100, and it looks like we got a clean start. And you can just see how they slip off the line, you know, all the tire debris, all that, and then the wetness, the moisture, as Tommy Lemaire throws it into the bank. And he is sticking it pretty high here. But again, this is just where you gotta, man, this is so difficult. All the nerves, all the stress as they come across that power rally, navigating it. Again, the Rain-X Toyota Corolla going through the puddles. You can see Tommy Lemaire throwing up the water roofs out the back, and you can hear just the throttle control. You can hear just, and he's gonna not try to give Ryan Turk much of an inch. Ryan just with so much experience behind the wheel over the years. Again, there are look at Tommy Lemaire not giving an inch. He is not letting Ryan Turk run away with it. Coming down into that power alley, now transitioning through. Tommy Lemaire did impede on that transition. So as close the proximity was, you saw Ryan Turk snap back, and there goes Tommy Lemaire off the course. And looks like just too slick for Tommy Lemaire. Had some, so he does it in the rain, and unfortunately the rain dance doesn't work for him, but it does work for Ryan Turk, who coincidentally is in the Rain-X. So an ample break in between now and later. Man, I'll tell you what, Forsberg versus Gooch, the OG since 04, Shanahan versus Castro, Hughes versus Turk. Yeah, Sorensen versus, I mean, all these bangers. Burkett, he needs to get that transmission fixed. Adam LZ and James Dean, former teammates,
yeah,
now going against each other. Osbo Beecham. Beecham could twist the screws on Cole Richards. He's down, you know, he talked about, obviously, you know, that part from his vehicle, Matt Field, putting new, so
it's not
so many, so many great battles and so many stories unfolding in every corner. Orlando always delivers from the weather. All right, there it is, Chris Forsberg, Kenshiro Gushi. Chris the Force Forsberg, Destin Industries, all new Z, pulling away. What's white, black, and red? Well, these two vehicles on the track. Forsberg initiates high on the bank. The Kenda tires scrubbing almost that wall. Nice shot. Gushi tucks in a little bit lower on the bank. Now coming through that power alley. Gushi dives in, straightens, backs off. Again, the degree of angle here. They did take sight laps. We let them take sight laps to check the conditions, see what the puddle, the slickness, or the gripness. Give and chase. Here goes that Toyota GR86 across the nose of the Z. Whoa! Forsberg initiates, has to back off. Gushi a little low there on the bank, and I'm glad they salvaged that. Would hate to see them get into a tussle there early on. Now transitioning through that power alley into that second inside zone. Very wet is that section. You can see him just navigating. Chris Forsberg chomping at the bit right there. Great placement by Ken Gushi out front. Chris, the Force Forsberg, gets the win.
Wow.
Chris Forsberg gets the win. Again, flying that Drift Alliance flag. And speaking of Drift Alliance and another DA member, Lorette Nickel, 2 New Hampshire kids down there in the pits. Lighting up that outside, that first outside zone. So we'll see. Here we go. Brandon Sorensen out front. Masayama chasing him down. That signature purple and green. Brandon Sorensen high on the bank. Really trusting the grip levels high on the bank. And like Ryan said, everybody's taking notes on how it is transforming throughout the event. Sorensen, massive angle here. Masayama struggling to keep that proximity and the angle as Sorensen keeps it sideways and really smoky. Clean start. Look at those, the wonky headlights. You can see him shooting at angle, and that's a little strategery as Brandon Sorensen. Masayama taps the wall, he stays in it. Brandon Feigl, we got that D-beat on that back left. This is the final run if he powers through it, and look, you can see the tire. It's about to exit the chat. Masayama, he is on steel right now. Hey, Brandon Sorensen pushing him around the track. Masayama stays in it. Tire fire, but it's only one because he lost that back left one.
I gotta get this shot. Masayama's, the tire's turning. It's not making a lot of grip, but it's doing something.
Okay, so here's the question.
Yeah.
Did Masayama hit the wall independently? Did Brandon force him into it? Because good one. Brandon Sorensen gets the win. Slide him left. Jack Shanahan and Jonathan Castro. He loves this place. So we'll see if the magic continues for Jonathan Castro. Jack Shanahan up on that bank, and if whatever's not working, keep not working because it's working now. Yes, sir. You see the reflection of the taillights up there on the green wall. The big green monster now coming, transitioning through. Whoa, look at that. And you see, I'm saying, dude, Castro on this track, he bangs the wheels on the back of Shanahan. Dude, don't delay inevitable. Let's just cook. Yeah. Let's go. Let's burn the meatloaf. All right, here we go. Jonathan Castro. He's cooking right now. Yeah. As Castro initiates, Jack drops into formation. Castro, massive angle. Dominican's finest coming down into that power alley, transitioning into those inside clips. Oh. Jack slides right there into formation. Once again, banging, grinding, bumping and grinding all the way through the finish line. Castro and Shanahan. But Jack Shanahan advances on Odie Bakshi's Dan Burkett. That's who we're looking at now. Clean start. Let's see. We're seeing some more smoke, so the track is trying out definitely on the bank. Odie Bakshi's winds it up. Dan Burkett drops into formation. Very clinical. Good straight approach. Looks like Odie pulling away from Burkett. He takes the wrong line and throws him off course in that Mark IV Rat Industries Supra. And Odie Bakshi's just set it and forget it. Quiet, soft-spoken, but he's just an excellent pilot. Here we go. Look at that timing right there on initiation by Odie Bakshi's. Dan Burkett allows that because he times it perfectly. Good angle from Dan Burkett. Odie, again, applying the pressure through the smoke. Whoa. And look at that timing there. It looked like he was going to go on the inside, but he just made the small little micro adjustment to drop back and get into that pocket. Odie Bakshi's right now, Odie Bakshi's gets the win. Cole Richards and Matt Field, the beast from the Bay. Cole Richards and Matt. Cole will lead. Matt Field giving him chase. Let's see what Cole can do. He has been absolutely on it. And as Cole kind of rolled into it, he was rolling Cole, but Matt Field, you saw him kind of have to back off and evade some contact, but tucking in to the smoke trail. Look at Matt Field jump back up like a trampoline. Gets right to the side of him, almost pulling him around the track. Talk about intimidating.
That's it. Just go out, run your run, and if he's down a cylinder, there's no way he's going to keep up.
He might take him out to dinner tonight or for dessert at Applebee's. Here we go. The Borla Performance Corvette initiates, but Cole Richards says, I'm going to throw it down. Yes, sir. Cole Richards is not getting walked whatsoever. Wow, Cole. He is just throwing it in as Matt Field is giving him one heck of a platform. Solid run by Matt Field. Look at him right into that crease. That Portland Performance Corvette, well done. Richards, Matt Field, slide him right for Matt Field, and Matt Field gets the win unanimously, and defending Formula Gym champ, going against, again, one of the most popular drivers of automotive personality. And look at Adam LZ. Great angle. James Dean not letting him get away. Watch this transition. Boom. James Dean lets him go a little bit. Maybe too much. Oh, but look at Adam LZ overcooks it, brings it back between the lines. In that last outside zone, that allows James Dean to get into that pocket and come unwound. But again, James Dean, he obviously thinks that way too. He's not just a field driver. Look at that, a little smooch on that back bumper. Disrupts Adam LZ, but James Dean, look at the angle here. Adam LZ trying to twist the screws on the 5-time champion, former teammate. And Adam LZ surges to the side, has to back off. Adam LZ straightens out. James Dean continues on, and all signs are saying James the Machine Dean lives up to his name with Adam LZ, Osbo, Trenton Beecham. Ripping and a tearing into that first outside zone goes Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Osbo. The hammer right in front of that BMW, dropping into the power alley. Trenton Beecham not giving him an inch. Gets up to the side. Oh, and Frederick Osbo, he overcooked it. That was very reminiscent of what we just saw from Adam LZ. But Trenton Beecham backed off. Did he get nervous? As the lights go off, Trenton Beecham will lead. Frederick Osbo will be running him down. Those GR Super tail headlights are in the rear view mirror of Beecham. Big angle from Beecham. Now coming to that power alley. Again, the progression of Beecham's driving has grown leaps and bounds over the years. And look at this, Frederick Osbo struggling to stay up with this BMW across the finish line. And 3 votes, so unanimously, Frederick Osbo gets the win. Dylan Hughes and his Permatex. Hughes or Turk, who's moving on? Ryan Turk, little stutter step, and again, the chase car is allowed to leave prior to the lead car to time it properly. Talk about timing it properly. Dylan Hughes high on the bank. You can see Ryan Turk dropping a formation a little higher than Dylan Hughes. That hot hatchback comes slamming down. Oh, buddy! Ryan Turk overcooks it. Going to that power alley, Dylan Hughes continues on. And Ryan, again,
oh, this will give you a good idea. Look at how long he's basically in that trail, and he's decelling as much as he can. Dylan Hughes is lined up quite well, but yeah, nowhere to go.
We have cars on the line. I'm looking at Chris the Force Forsberg and Brandon Sorensen. Forsberg in that Destin Industries all-new Z. Brandon Sorensen in the BMW and ready to do battle. All right, our first battle of the Great 8, 3-time champion, Chris the Force Forsberg in his Destin Industries Z. Brandon Sorensen Motorsports self-named BMW. As Forsberg initiates high on the bank, little tap there, comes out of shape but stays in it, and Brandon Sorensen right there shadowing her in that matte black, coincidentally BMW, tucks in nicely as Forsberg brings it around. It's that final outside zone. That's a better angle right there as Sorensen now dives in. They are off. Brandon Sorensen hot out the gate, no cones hit on that bank. Sorensen across the nose. Sorensen aggressive on initiation, goes high. Forsberg gets in. Sorensen with a greater degree of angle and very high on the bank. Let's see how they handle it. And that smoke played another role there. He has to back off. Forsberg now jumps into the side of him, but Brandon pulling away. Definitely need to see different angles there. We got the sensational angles, but the Pennzoil Grade 8 slide him left for Forsberg, right for Brandon Sorensen gets the victory. Sorensen, Jack Shanahan, and Odie Bakshi's. For all things considered, Jack Shanahan said it wasn't feeling the flow, but here he is in the Grade 8 going against Odie Bakshi's. Jack Shanahan, that Pulsar Turbo Systems BMW, but look at Odie. That Origin white shadow right there, tucked in so nicely. Where's he at? Boom, there he goes, like a magician. And he jumps out like a rabbit from a hat. Pushing Jack Shanahan. He said he might be intimidating. Odie doesn't care. Yeah! Man. Banging and bruising like a mosh pit at an emo show. Let's go. Here we go. Odie Bakshi's out front. Shanahan chasing him down. Odie initiates Jack. Now he's going to give it back. Oh, yeah, but he's going to bang right out the gate on that outside zone 1. Now let's see how they handle this. Again, with all that smoke, he cuts through it. And Odie Bakshi, some separation. Jack center punches that second inside zone. Odie pulling away, massive angle for Odie Bakshi and continues on through the course. Slide him left for Jack Shanahan or right for Odie Bakshi. Odie Bakshi gets the win.
Battles between them, and so far James has got his number 11-1. This is a big step up here for Matt Field.
Almost simultaneous. Here goes James Dean out front. initiates into the bank. Matt Field drops into formation. Very signature textbook from both of these drivers. Now coming down into the bank. Where is Matt going to land? Transition through the smoke. Well executed by Matt Field. One of the best timed transitions going to the inside zone too. And here goes Matt. He's going to try to bully. He's tracking him down. I'm expecting an aggressive and timely initiation by James Dean. There he goes. Matt Field high on the bank. Here comes James. Look at that. Making his presence felt. Both these guys rocking the heat waves under the skid lid. Now transitioning through into the second inside zone. Look at Matt Field. Great placement by Field. Tries to pull away from the five-time champ. And James tucks in, but Matt has got a weapon.
This is tough.
Ooh, not unanimous. So one more time, but James Dean comes out on top.
Yeah, I think maybe just a couple little zones there in Matt's lead, but either way, that was a great battle.
We've seen great success from Dylan Hughes. He knows, he likes this track. He's won here before. Much different, drier conditions now, but of course, he doesn't want to see a rain dance. And the Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota GR Supra. Look at that as Dylan gains some ground here. Rock solid, rock star. Past that first and second inside zone through the power alley. Dylan Hughes and that Permatex BMW trying to gain some ground and just not able to do it. Dylan Hughes, that Permatex BMW initiates. So does Freddie. Freddie gets cozy with Dylan Hughes. But Dylan, you can see, look at that, just firing off out of the hood. And now transitioning through Frederick Osbo. Once again, tucks in. He got that proximity, but you talked about that tire attrition. And there he goes. Dylan, good placement of the car, but Freddie just had enough. Frederick Osbo, the Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota GR Supra gets the win. Brandon Sorensen, Bakshi's. The way these two gentlemen are driving, I think this is a fairly equally matched battle. Just as far as the aggression, their lead runs, their chase runs, all this. If they bring what we've seen previously here tonight, this should be a banger once again across the nose of that Subaru BRZ. Goes Brandon Sorensen. But look at that, Odie Bakshi's. The orange glow underneath that BRZ, a field suspension. And now coming down, he timed it so perfectly earlier, and he does it again! This is what I'm talking about. Odie just has these beautiful drift whiskers, his awareness. He is like a cat. He just pounces on it, he backs. And here we go, take a look. The field suspension, BRZ out front, initiating simultaneously. And look at the young man just with these absolute destroyers, veterans of the sport. Odie Bakshi's goes down into that power alley. Odie, big angle there. And look at him, just gaining more distance at angle. Look at Odie Bakshi's. Odie is guaranteed a podium spot. I digress.
And the story is as old as time.
We are ready to send it as we have 5, 6, 7, 8 championships out here on track. Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Osbo initiates, and James Dean in tow. Look at him jump to the side. The RTR, the pony, riding side saddle to that Supra. Now coming down into the power alley. You can see Frederick Osbo navigate. James has to back off just a little bit to allow him to pass. And then that Bronco bucks right back up to the side of the Supra, crossing that finish line. Well done by, again, or will we? James the Machine Dean, that Pennzoil O'Reilly Auto Parts, Ford Racing, RPR. High on the wall, but Frederick Osbo's not giving him an inch. The signature James the Machine Dean, big angle. Frederick Osbo pokes his nose outside. Big straightening by Frederick Osbo. James Dean pulling away, finds himself in the crease, lick the stamp and send it. James Dean, and it looks like James the Machine Dean gets the win. Frederick Osbo will get third place with Brandon Sorensen. Are you ready to send it, Orlando? The final 2 times. First up, James Dean will lead in his Pennzoil O'Reilly Auto Parts Ford Racing Ford Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD against Odie Bakshi's, the field suspension Subi Mod GT Radial BRZ. Send it! Here we go. Let's see what kind of initiation across the nose. Odie Bakshi's has been one heck of a chase driver. Drops into formation, and there he is. Like I said, the cat whiskers. James Dean trying to rub belly and tame that cat, but Odie Bakshi's just allows him to pass. And there goes James Dean getting right to that line. Not mimicking that angle, but definitely has progress. Talking about Odibachis. James Dean does exactly what was expected and anticipated. Justin Smash drops in just like these two into that first outside zone. James very aggressive, in tow, trying to ride shotgun there with Odibachis, pulling him, pushing the bucking Mustang, absolutely firing off and pulling through that power alley. Odibachis pulling away from James the Machine Dean. Odibachis. Wow. All right, now without further ado, the unanimous winner here all across the board, fought tooth and nail with all the conditions, the rain, the sunshine, all of it, a calmness throughout the weekend has got him to the top of the box at round 3 at Orlando Speed World of the 2026 Formula Drift Pro Championship. The winner unanimously is Odibachis gets the win. Odibachis gets the win in the field suspension GT Radial Subaru BRZ.
That's a great story we have about that.
And with that, he says that's a great story, and it is. The story continues because second place is James the Machine Dean as O'Reilly Auto Parts, Pennzoil, Mustang, Ford Racing, RTR, Spec 5, FD. What a crazy 2 days.